Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode. I am joined with an amazing guest, Mr. Stuart Pollington. Stuart is the owner of Smart Traffic, Smart Digital Group, and EVO Digital, where he specializes in driving growth and innovation across the digital marketing landscape in both Australia and Thailand. Additionally, as the co-founder of Easson Energy, he is passionate about advancing energy efficiency solutions. Hello, Stuart. How are
Perfect.
you today?
Yeah, I'm good. Hey, everyone.
Awesome. So that was a bit of a lengthy introduction, and a lot of the things that I said might not be familiar to the audience. So could you
Mhm.
please explain to my audience what Smart Traffic, Smart Digital Group, EVO Digital, and Easson Energy are all about?
Yeah, sure. Hi everyone. My name's Stuart Pollington. I've been in Asia for over 20 years, primarily in Thailand. Smart Digital Group, if we start there, that is a Bangkok-based digital marketing agency. It's been around about 19 years. We service the Thai and ASEAN region market in English and Thai language, and we do full service digital marketing solutions from web design to SEO, Google Ads, social organic, landing page creation, lead generation, email marketing, etc., etc. Basically, what we do is we help businesses grow their online presence, increase their visitors and conversions, obviously driving more sales and retention with their customer base. Um, Smart Traffic is exactly the same. It's just the brand that we use in Australia that's headquartered in Sydney. And EVO Digital is actually a white label agency solution. Typically with SEO specifically, a lot of the tasks are very labor intensive. So what we do is we work with agencies behind the scene. We would work and support them with the, say, link building, content creation, some of the local services to help, improve the rankings locally and map positions. And it allows them to focus on the overall kind of strategy and the branding with their clients. So that's the kind of the digital marketing businesses, if you like. And then, as you mentioned, there is that newer business on energy efficiency. That's called Easson Energy. Co-founded that about 3.5, maybe 4 years ago now, right near the beginning of COVID. And basically, it is a monitoring solution. So we have a tech, hardware, software, service, and it all starts with real-time energy monitoring at an asset level. So we come in as retrofit, we install the equipment and the sensors. We're then able to take real-time, second by second data on the energy consumption, the temperature, humidity, etc. That's pushed up into the cloud. And then we use machine learning and AI to look for patterns. And then the service part is where we work with our clients through real-time alerts, reports, and consultation with our virtual energy managers to help them identify the wastage and then actually take action to reduce the wastage. That could be as simple as behavioral change, could be process change, could even be equipment or even automation that we end up layering in. So that's going really well. Obviously, it's a new kind of startup. We target mainly business customers, very good for factories, for example, with high monthly energy costs. If we can save 10, 15% on their energy costs, that is big savings, but it also helps them reduce their CO2 footprint. So it's really good for the environment and also to help them hit those kind of environmental targets that they have. So big energy consumption like factories, also great for hotels, hospitals, schools, restaurants. It's good for and QSR like quick service restaurants. So it's a global, it's a UK solution that we used in over 70 countries around the world. And so great for, again, like QSRs, like for example, maybe KFC, Burger King, Pizza Hut, etc.
Wow, that's a very comprehensive, detailed explanation of all the different companies and everything you're involved in.
Brilliant.
So, can you please take me through how your journey began with all of this? And can you share your experiences and key moments which shaped your path?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think I had a typical journey over here for a lot of expats. I came through kind of traveling originally over 20 years ago when I was much younger. Still didn't have hair, but I was younger. Maybe less wrinkles, for example. And yeah, just fell in love with the kind of culture and the place and the people, and went back to the UK, and then kind of found a way to come back over here. Got into the digital marketing, worked in smart traffic and smart digital with the original three owners, got very close with them, moved to the Philippines, a place called Cebu, was there for about 5 years running the technical office that we had over there at one time. Moved back to Thailand about 10 years ago and then took ownership of smart digital and smart traffic about I think it's 8, 9 years ago now. And then, yeah, very passionate. I really enjoy digital marketing. I like the technical side of it, but I also like talking to business owners, understanding what their problems are and identifying those issues and then helping to find solutions to help drive that growth online and digitally. And then with Easson Energy, it was more of an opportunity that I came across. I met Robert Easson, who's the founder, or we founded it together over here during COVID. He was actually on his way back to the UK and then got kind of stuck here. We had a conversation. It kind of made sense to me. I mean, I've got two young kids, and we do need to do something to reduce the issues we're having globally. And yeah, this solution just kind of made sense to me. I mean, for a business, it's a win-win. They are, reducing their costs, which is great. That saving can go straight to the bottom line. But more importantly, they're doing something towards their CO2 reductions. So, we sit quite, we sit kind of at the beginning of the path to net zero. So, the first step is real-time monitoring, understanding exactly where you are right now, and then making those changes, getting more efficient. And then once you're as efficient as you can be, then you look at green solutions, green energy like solar, wind, hydro, whatever, plug that in, and that's that combination that's going to help you get to the longer term goal of net zero. I think on average it's just over 40% globally of energy is wasted. So if you think about the sheer volume of that in monetary terms, but also in kind of CO2, then it kind of makes sense to kind of tap into that and identify where you can make changes to improve on that.
But I want to focus on one specific part, which you mentioned as you were describing, which was the digital marketing landscape. And I mentioned in the introduction that the growth and innovation that is driven is across the digital marketing landscape in Australia and in Thailand. So can you please describe the digital marketing landscape in both Thailand and Australia? And are there any similarities or differences between the two?
Yeah, sure. Great question. So, um, very similar in certain ways, but then also a little bit different. So, if we're looking at trying to rank organically in Google, the strategies, the tactics that we're using will be very, very similar. What will change maybe are the kind of words that people are using or associating with the business. The big change or the big difference is probably more around on the social side and different types of platforms. So, one of the first things we'll do in Australia or over here is try and understand who our clients' target audience is. as in who are they trying to, who is their brand trying to reach, who is their ideal customer. And depending on that and the age range and interests, that might change the platforms that we would focus on, for example. So, typically maybe older demographic on Facebook, younger demographic on Instagram or TikTok, for example. When you look at messaging marketing, I think you'll find WhatsApp is more popular and heavily used in Australia, but in Thailand it would be Line, for example. So that's probably where most of the main differences come. Yeah, yeah. So, very similar strategies once you understand where their potential customers are. So we followed, we've been doing, we started originally 19 years ago as an SEO company, and I've obviously developed services over the years. So we're very, very good at SEO, very, very good. And that's why we white label through EVO Digital. But yeah, very, very similar kind of strategies that we follow. We follow the best practice. So, we're not impacted by, if Google rolls out updates, we're not impacted by that because we make sure we follow best practices to get results for clients. So yeah, probably the biggest difference I think would be more around the social side, as in the different platforms and age ranges on those platforms. So it's about understanding that, and then understanding where to spend or where to invest your client's budget.
I think one thing I really liked that you mentioned was SEOs and the fact that you
Mm.
started 19 years ago, and a lot of people really understand the impact of SEOs, and I'm pretty sure you know the impact of SEOs. And as the years go on, this term is becoming more frequent, as in more people are talking about it, and it's something that a lot of people need to hear about. So, on that note, can you explain what SEO is to my audience who don't know what it is, and how important is it for them to know about SEOs?
Yeah, definitely. So SEO just stands for search engine optimization. And primarily that when you think of SEO, you think of Google because it's the largest search engine, it's got the largest footprint, globally. But before Google, obviously, you had other different kind of search engines like Lycos and Yahoo, and then obviously after Google, you have Bing. So there are other kind of search engines around there. Yeah, again, so SEO is just search engine optimization, and all we're doing it's focused on the organic results. So when you do a search in Google, it is not the ads that we're looking at. That's separate marketing. It is the organic free listings, either the map or the organic listing. So typically, or years ago, it used to just be the 10 blue links. Now, obviously, that first page of Google now is kind of flooded a bit with business profiles and ads and AI overviews and things like that. But it will be the 10 website links on the first page of Google that are not sponsored or not paid for. And yeah, what we're basically doing is looking at a client's website, understanding which page is about which topic or theme, performing keyword research and topic research and question research. And we do that through a variety of different tools. Now, what these tools will tell us is on average how many times those search terms are searched for in Google. And then from that, you can build up a list of the types of keywords and questions that your target audience are asking. And then it's about making sure that your content on your page is the best within that kind of service or industry, and that you are authoritative and you're answering the questions and it's relevant. We're also looking at the technical side of the website. So a lot of it now is about speed. Google is a mobile first index. It basically means when it evaluates your site and crawls your site, it's looking at it as if it's being viewed on a mobile phone. So speed, layout, usability is all important. And then that last piece is more about the popularity. Similar to what we do with EVO Digital, that's what we would call link building. Um, and all link building is other websites that mention you in their content and add a link back to your site. So if someone clicks on it, they'll be taken to your website. And each link is kind of counted like a vote, except that not every vote is weighted the same. So we focus very much on the theming. You know, a reason for site A to link to site B. We're making sure, you know, if we're working with a health client or maybe a health insurance client, that we're reaching out to health related websites and bloggers and finance related sites. And you know, we're pitching them an idea maybe for some content, and if they accept that, we'll create that blog post for them, and there'll be links in there to different resources, and one of those will be the client that we're trying to, you know, improve the rankings for. So yeah, very simply, uh, you know, there's three core pillars to SEO. There's the technical, which you talked about, the website. There's the content, and then there are the offsite signals, which is primarily the other sites linking back. And it's our job to get our clients and our clients' pages to appear for as many keywords on the first page of Google as possible. And once they're on page one, it's then the job to move them up to the top three to position one, where you get the lion's share of the clicks.
Connecting this all together, you mentioned in the very early part of the interview about AI, and
Hmm.
we talked a little bit about digital marketing, SEOs. In your opinion, how will AI transform the future of SEO and digital marketing?
Okay, so there's kind of yeah, there's kind of a couple of aspects to the AI. So you've got how can clients utilize AI to improve their processes, improve what they're doing, whether that's helping with marketing or not. And then the other side is how can we optimize our clients' websites so they're more likely to appear in AI overviews and you know, chat GPT responses, etc. So on the marketing side, AI is brilliant for helping with research, coming up with topic ideas, maybe helping you to draft out some ideas. But we always make sure that any content we write is human written, because already you can see there's a big flood online of just AI articles which are not really what you would class as kind of genuine or your own kind of brand voice. So, you know, we're focused very much, you still have that human element, but it's about utilizing AI the best way, or the way that's going to help you the most and what it's good at. And again, that's a lot of that is research. A lot of that is maybe helping to speed up the evaluation of the analyzing of data and helping you identify ideas and trends, etc. So that would be how we would utilize AI to help clients with the marketing. And then the other side is, as I said, is how we optimize websites, not just to rank in Google, but to be more likely to be picked up as AI overview answers. So, you know, now you've probably seen it yourself. You do certain searches within Google will have this AI overview at the top where it's trying to answer your question. Now, you know, previously it used to be like the knowledge graph, and there used to be snippets, and it would kind of try and answer questions by pulling up some information. And now that's kind of developed into this AI overview. So there are strategies and tactics that we use to help optimize our clients' landing pages and content to give them more chance to appear in some of these overviews. Um, it's still quite early days. You know, there are reports of, you know, some websites losing a little bit of traffic from Google because of the AI overviews and the answer to a question and no need to actually click through to the results. But then on the flip side, there's also been reports of websites generating new traffic through actually being from ChatGPT, for example, and being one of the sources that ChatGPT pulls its answers from, and when it's responding. So it's still quite early. My advice to anyone out there would be definitely utilize AI. Remember that AI is still a tool, so it's only as good as how you use it. So very important that you work with someone who knows what they're doing, or you spend time yourself learning how to prompt properly and how to do things like that. Don't trust every answer you get. Make sure you do look for the citations and the links for where the recommendations are coming from, because AI still has a tendency for hallucinations where they're making up answers and things like that. So definitely utilize AI as a tool. Again, great for research, etc. But don't expect to just be able to put something in AI, put it up on a website, and expect it to rank. If anything, the AI and all the content that's been churned out over the last couple of years has, if anything, it's kind of flipped it back to brands and being genuine and having your own voice. And I think that resonates with people a lot more. Is having a brand, having a story, and making sure that when you write and you do things, you do it in your voice, if that makes sense. So AI is great. I was at the UK AI Week 2025 in Bangkok this week, and it was fantastic to see some of the use cases coming out from the UK government using AI for, and there's some fantastic things that will be done with AI, especially in medical and data analysis and other areas. I do think for marketing, it's going to be more and more important to be genuine. So utilize AI, it can help you. Don't rely on just AI. And then, yeah, moving forward, it's going to be important to be genuine, and also to work on not just SEO, but AI optimization, to get your site being the one that is referenced for some of the responses and answers that ChatGPT and the other, AI agents, etc., will give back to the users.
I think I really like, Stuart, how you branched out from just SEOs and you talked a little bit about other strategies. And I think that
Hmm.
focusing on not just SEOs but other strategies are incredibly important. And I know that as someone like you, you're very knowledgeable and you've been having so much experience in the industry and going to events like you said, which is incredibly commendable because you're branching the way that you see things and like you said, it gives you a perspective. And I know my audience would definitely want to hear if there are any social media strategies or content marketing strategies that have been incredibly effective that you would like to share.
Um, yeah, I mean, the thing with digital marketing is there's not really any kind of shortcuts. And if there's something that maybe works really well quickly, it's most likely won't do that forever. I think probably one of the best things to think about when doing your marketing is probably two things. One is an omni-channel approach, which you've just mentioned there. Is not we have a saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So don't just think organic and do SEO. Don't just do ads. Don't just do something on social. Try and do something across everything, an omni-channel approach. As long as your audience is there, of course, you do not need a social account or a profile on every single social platform. You just need to pick the ones where your audience is going to be. Now, obviously, B2B, that could be primarily LinkedIn. B2C, depending on the age range, could be Instagram, could be TikTok, could be Facebook. Um, but have make sure you have you think of your brand, that you're consistent across the different channels. Then if something changes on Facebook, if Facebook changes the algorithm and you're not doing so well, you're still getting your traffic and your visibility from, say, TikTok or your organic, or you're still spending on Google Ads. At the end of the day, if for every dollar you're making a return on investment, then it's just about how much you kind of want to ramp that up. So number one, omni-channel approach. So, don't just look at one channel, look at across the where your audience is. And then secondly, not everybody is ready to buy. It's a very small percentage of people that are actually ready to buy. Obviously, with SEO and Google Ads, it can be a little bit easier to identify that because you base it on keywords. You look at what people are searching for. You can understand the intent and whether they are closer to that buying part. But it's a bit like when you're dating someone, you don't ask them to marry you on the first date. You go through a series of several dates, getting to know each other, etc. So the other kind of recommendation is to think about the funnel approach. You've got a lot of people at the awareness stage where they're just kind of finding out who you are. Then they move down to the consideration stage, and that's where they're kind of considering what you do or the service or the product that you provide. Maybe they're looking around for competitors and other options. And then at the bottom, you've got the conversion stage, and that is the ones that are ready to buy. So typically, a lot of people focus on that small part at the bottom, ready to buy. But actually, if you think of it as a funnel and you think about how you can get people into the top of the funnel and gradually move them down, whether that's through advertising at different kind of messaging, whether that is through something at the top like a lead gen, they download a lead magnet, they give you an email address, you use email marketing to educate them on use cases for your services, case studies on results, and then maybe that's followed up with some retargeting on advertising with a special offer to pull them into conversion. So yeah, I would probably, there isn't really like a secret trick that's going to suddenly work and explode everything you do. You need to think of omni-channel approach, where your audience are, and you need to think of the bigger picture funnel, and that not everyone is ready to buy or talk to you today. And it's about working them through and down that funnel, that journey until they are ready.
I really like how you mentioned like the funnel and how you have to work through down the channel because not everyone's ready to buy, which
Mhm.
you know, incredibly I agree with that. And buy in the sense doesn't have to be purchased, but maybe buy into your vision and what you
Mhm.
believe. And I want to move and steer away from this a little bit. We talked a lot about SEO and digital marketing, but you're also, like I mentioned, doing Easson Energy. And I would like to know where does your passion come to this and how were you able to get people to buy into this idea? And what do you see and how do you see Easson Energy influencing the future of energy efficiency?
Yeah, cool. Okay, so yeah, I mean, as I mentioned earlier, I do have like two young children myself, 10 and 7. And as you do get older, and when you do have children, you do think about what's going to happen next. What do I leave behind as a legacy, but also environmentally wise, what world are they going to be growing up in? What will the world look like in 10, 15 years when they're entering the workforce and things like that. So I've always wanted to do something that would be more, what's the word? That would be more, I wouldn't, yeah, that would be more kind of giving back, if you like. Now, at the end of the day, it is still a business, and for a lot of companies, especially when COVID impacted, it was about how do we reduce costs, because you're still paying, and with your electricity or your energy, you kind of get a bill at the end of each month, and this is what you've spent, and this is what you've got to pay. And for a lot of people, it's just the cost of doing business. You go to the supermarket, you get a receipt, you itemize everything that you've purchased, and that's kind of what we do with the electricity and the energy. Is we just through data and big data, we show the energy that's being used and where the opportunities are to reduce that energy wastage. And it's really good to see that a lot more companies now, if we look when we started, it was very much about how do we cut costs, how do we save money? Whereas now we're getting a lot more customers coming to us about how can we reduce our footprint? How do we get to net zero? How do we, cut down our energy usage to reduce our CO2? And how do we report that? How do we actually verify that? Because you can't just have someone walking around and writing down meter readings and then putting that into an Excel. Obviously, number one, you're going to potentially have human error, but number two, how do you validate that? And so a big part of energy monitoring and energy efficiency is having the real-time data and being able to say, well, look, this is the baseline, this is what you're using now, this is the change, this is the recommendation, using the data to predict what those changes might look like and how it will affect your, energy costs, and then being able to verify that through reports and certify that yes, you have reduced your energy consumption or wastage by 11%, which equates to this amount of CO2 in ton, for example. And we're getting a lot of businesses now talking to us, especially down the eastern seaboard, all the industrial areas, because of requirements from the EU or head offices in Europe or in America, where if you're part of the supply chain, you need to show what you're doing on the energy reduction and CO2 and everything. And a lot of businesses want to get to net zero and and are looking for ways to do that. And obviously, one of the easiest solutions for companies to think of is solar, but obviously solar is just a different type of energy. It might be green, but if you're wasting it, you're still wasting it. There's still a cost associated. It can be very difficult for businesses to actually have 100% coverage with solar due to the footprint and where they're able to place solar. So it's much better to start with monitoring in real time data, get efficient, and then invest in your green energy. And that is the steps and the process, towards net zero, which is where everyone is, kind of trying to get, so we can address globally, the rising temperatures.
Absolutely. That's the goal, not just for Easson Energy, but for other companies around the world focusing on this aspect. And I'm sure that over time we'll get there eventually.
I would
And
hope so. Yeah, I would hope
yeah.
so. And it will take a lot of effort from a lot of people. But I mean, at the end of the day, we'd all like to live in a world that is, we don't want all these extra natural disasters caused by global warming. We want to have clean air. We want to leave a better environment for our children and their children. And so, yeah, I mean, action needs to be taken. And there's lots of different ways to do that, with what we do with green energy and everything else.
So you do manage quite a few companies, and I'm pretty sure that there are some key challenges that you face, with a lot going on, and there's just so much work and stress. What are some of the key challenges that you face managing multiple companies, and how do you overcome these challenges?
Okay. I mean, obviously, with a few different companies, then obviously there's a few different things that you've got different things you're thinking about. You've got kind of different kind of targets, different goals, different processes, different kind of target markets and potential clients that you're going after. So, it's very, very important to have a good team in place. Um, and obviously, and also have like your processes and everything in place so that you can focus more, on the overall vision and the leadership. So, with the digital marketing businesses, the Smart Traffic, Smart Digital, EVO Digital, they've been around a long time. So I've got a fantastic support team and a team in place, which means you have a lot of trust. You know that things are getting done, they're getting done right, and then so that is super super important. And then obviously with Easson Energy, there's actually four of us, four partners who have kind of put all of this together, and that's really useful and helpful because we all each of us have our own areas of kind of expertise, if you like, and it's really good to be able to bounce ideas off of each other. So being an entrepreneur or a founder doesn't mean you have to do it all yourself. And having a great product and service is obviously important, but it's just as important to have the right team in place and the right support. And then, probably important as well to be open to change, open to educating and growing yourself. You won't know everything. You're not supposed to. Listen to advice, get mentorship if you can, talk to business owners, understand same issues that maybe they've been through so you can learn from them. Um, and then, yeah, I think, really, really rely on, your support network, whether that's business partners, whether that's your team, or whether that is, outside, mentorship or joining kind of chambers and getting support that way.
I think one thing that you really mentioned, which is really valuable in any company that you're a part of, is the team and the fact
Hmm.
that you trust your team. And you mentioned this, which is really important, having people you trust and get along with. And we mentioned that the longevity of smart traffic. So you said 19 years from 2006. Now that my viewers are watching this, Happy New Year to all of you. So, yeah, smart traffic has been helping businesses grow since 2006, like we mentioned. So it's been there for such a
Hmm.
long time. What do you believe is the key to maintaining that longevity apart from just the
Um,
team?
mhm. Well, yeah, yeah. Number one is obviously being good at what we do. Very hard to grow, maintain, and keep a business for nearly 2 decades if you're not good at what you do. And then it will be, as I said, maybe like adaptability, being open to change, understanding where your market is going, and being able to pivot and adapt to that. So, we started SEO, that was the core thing that we did. But then obviously then we make sure or we hire or we train for then being able to do advertising through Google Ads, do the same for web development. And then when social media exploded, it was about understanding social media and growing, pivoting and having a team for social media and then a social ads team, and sometimes that can be slightly different skill sets. But if we had, and there are plenty of companies out there who just do SEO or just do Google Ads or just do social media, and there's nothing wrong with that. You specialize, in the vertical, if you like, that you're in. But even within those separate verticals, Google Ads has changed a hell of a lot in 20 years. Social media has changed a lot since the early days of Facebook. You've now got obviously LinkedIn, which is B2B. You've got the Instagram, you've got the rise of TikTok and then short videos. And it's about understanding your audience, where they are, and how they like to digest their content, if you like. Is it long form? Is it short form? Is it if it's B2B, speak professionally. If it's B2C, making sure you use the similar kind of language and you speak the same way as your kind of target customer base. So it's about being flexible. It's about understanding, like I said, where the market's going and then not being afraid of change. And more recently in the last few years, that would have been is AI, and and kind of embracing that, understanding what it's good at, what it isn't good at, and then how you can leverage AI to improve your business, but also attract more business.
Absolutely. I totally agree. AI is changing the world, but key points that you mentioned, which I really liked, were understanding your audience, which I think is really important. Knowing your
Hmm.
audience is important. Also, the product that you have and the fact that every person out there is unique and they will digest content in different ways. And one thing for sure is, like you mentioned, short form videos, long form videos, but there's a lot of competition actually out there, not just for people who are producing content, but also companies. And we mentioned that you manage a lot of companies, and I want to shift towards EVO Digital, which we haven't really spoke of a little bit in the podcast. And in the digital marketing space, a lot of people know about digital marketing. They're learning the skills. They're becoming more knowledgeable in this aspect. What do you believe makes EVO Digital stand out? And can you explain this approach to a concept that you mentioned earlier on, which is link building and outsource blogger reach?
Okay, cool. Okay, so I mean, if we look at just quickly, we just look at smart digital and smart traffic. And for the SEO, so Evo Digital is white label, primarily white label SEO services broken down individually so that agencies or in-house SEOs working at companies can use us to support in micro areas, or in different, in separate areas, if you like. So if we look at smart traffic and smart digital for SEO, we look after the whole strategy for our clients. We deal directly with the client. We're managing that client, the client communication, the meetings, the overall strategy for SEO. We're looking after the on-site, the technical. We're looking after the content or the keyword research. We're looking after the outreach for the link building. So we're doing everything. With Evo Digital, we're just breaking down some of the deliverables that we do that are quite labor intensive. So you mentioned blogger outreach. So part of it's blogger outreach. Then it could be content creation for local services, individual citations, which is mentions of name, address, phone number of businesses that help you rank locally. Infographic design. So we basically take we have, for a direct client, we do the overall strategy for either, and then we're using like these individual things like the content, the link building, the local audits, etc. And that's part of our overall strategy that we deliver directly to the client. But with Evo Digital, either the in-house marketer or the agencies are looking after the overall strategy, and we're just helping them with some of those individual deliverables. So a lot of what you do with SEO can be quite labor intensive. The blogger outreach itself is where you're trying to get more sites to link back to your site, and you want to try and get links back from good sites and mainly theme sites, because if you're in health insurance or if you're in insurance, then obviously you want to get links back from kind of health related sites if you do health insurance, travel related sites if you do travel insurance, or finance sites, because those match. It's not as valuable to get a link from a gardening blog, for example. So one of the core things we do with EVO Digital is understand the theming and the connection, and make sure that when we outreach and we try and get these bloggers to publish content and link back, that it makes sense why site A is linking back to site B. So we focus very much on the theming. I think that's where we stand out. Um, and obviously, it's very scalable and easy for agencies. They can tell us the keywords they want to target, the number of links they would like to try and get that month, and then we will do the work to get those for them and guarantee to deliver them. And then they can focus on the other things. They can focus on analyzing the analytics data. They can focus on the website and how to improve it. Knowing that we will be working behind the scenes to build up the links or help with the content. And then we can deliver that to the agency or the in-house marketer, and they can brand it up or they can use it in their reports to their clients or their internal team. So they can better use their time to manage the client and the overall strategy. And we're helping them with parts of that, of the deliverables in the background, if you like.
I think that's an amazing way to end the interview section of the podcast. But before we actually end the interview, I would like to ask you one question, which is
Mhm.
a question that I've been asking, which is if you could voice one message, if you could voice one unique message to the world, what would it be?
I'm not, yeah, unique. It would probably be something like you can, yeah. I mean, it sounds cheesy, but it would probably be something like you can make a difference. And when I say you can make a difference, that could be taken across any way you like. So if we look at the digital marketing and you think, I've got this business, I need to get more customers, etc. You can make a difference with that. You can, small steps and small changes can lead to big results. If we look at energy efficiency and energy monitoring, it all sounds doom and gloom with pollution and rising temperatures, but again, you can make a difference. The small changes that you make can have a big impact, but only if everybody is doing that. So I think that would be the message, is just that you can make a difference in whatever you are doing and whatever you choose to do in life, you can make a difference.
Awesome. I think that's a perfect way to end this section of the podcast. It's a perfect way to end the podcast. Thank you so much, Stuart, for your time.
No problem.